Right, hi YouTube, this is a little video here in my Echo chainsaw collection that I own. Just to be straight and down the line, up until recently I was never an Echo man really, through and through. I was always predominantly Husqvarna. My first ever saw was a Still. After that I went on to Husqvarnas. When I say Husqvarnas I mean 346XP, 357XP, 560XP, 550XP, so I've had a fair few Husqvarnas. The first one here we've got Echo. We've got the cs4310sx. Now this is a 43cc saw, the Pro Series model. So basically it's magnesium crankcase and everything like that. It normally runs a 325 pitch chain, and it comes with either options of a 13-inch bar or a 16-inch bar. But according to the operator manual, you can get them up to an 18-inch bar, but I've only seen 13-inch or 16 inches of options. To be honest, I would stick with a 15 to 16. This is a 501sx. This is a 50cc Pro Series saw. Same again, they've all got magnesium crankcases, all these saws. Right, 50cc series saw. It's the same 0.325 chain, and it normally comes with an 18-inch bar. Right, this is the 621sx. This is the 60cc Pro Series saw. This comes in a 3/8 chain, and it comes with options of 18, 20 or 24-inch bar. Yeah, a 60cc saw, 24-inch bar. Could it handle it? Yeah, I believe it could. This is a 20-inch bar. I get my all these saws, all three saws come with this style of bar. Although this isn't the style of bar I've got on them, this is the style of bar they come with, right? Which is a Sugihara bar as standard. The Echo Pro Series saws normally come with a Sugihara bar as standard on them. I get a 20-inch option in this one. This one only normally comes with an 18-inch bar, and I get the 16-inch one, although I'm running a 13 on it right now. I got into Echoes, I would say, about 5 years ago. Well, maybe not so much 5 years ago, but yeah, 5 years ago was when I got my first Echo, and it was the 501sx. Basically, I was in the market at the time for a 50cc saw. The best three saws in the market were either the cs501, the Still ms261, or the Husqvarna 550xp. I actually bought the Husqvarna 550xp at the time. Echoes in the UK weren't that popular, they didn't hold their money, stuff like that, and they were all about the same money. Honestly, the price for Echo saws in the UK is incredible. That saw there is £600 to buy in the UK. This saw here is about £700 to buy in the UK. This one here is about £800 to £900 to buy in the UK, depending on the options you get. That's the price of these saws in the UK, right? They're not cheap. So 600, 700, 800, right? That's the prices in the UK. Anyway, like I said, I bought a Husqvarna 550xp 5 years ago. 2 weeks after that, I get a chance to this Echo 501sx second hand. So I bought it. And to be honest, I thought at the time once I bought it, I didn't think it had the same power as Husqvarna. It was underpowered, but it was definitely lighter, definitely better on fuel, definitely quieter, and I seemed to prefer it. So every time I went to go and grab a chainsaw, I always used to seem to grab this Echo, and I couldn't explain it. I just seemed to prefer it. It was more comfortable, easy to start, reliable. So in the end up, 3 or 4 weeks ago, actually sold my Havana, and it had less than 10 hours on it. I sold my 550 XP, 5 years old. It was a 2000 and, I got it in 2019, and early 2019, it was a 2018 model, and I sold it for good money, for a lot more money than what I paid for this Echo. So I sold it, and I actually ended up buying the 621, right? So that's how much I valued the Echo saws, because I kept on walking by this Havana to go and grab the Echo. And like I said, I thought the Echo was underpowered until I was doing up. I've got two stills as well in the garage. I've got a still 038 AV Super, and I've got a still 028 AV Super. Both of them I've done a lot of work to rebuild them and stuff like that, and put a lot of new parts on them. And I purchased a tachometer. This was about 4 months ago, and I put the tach onto the 501sx. Now, Echo says it can do 13,800 RPM max. It was only sitting at 11,500, and that was out of wood. That was just sitting running. So I turned it up a little bit. I turned it up to about 12.3 or something like that, just to go, and then I went and used it. It was a completely different saw. Completely different saw. I was like, that's way more powerful, way better. I then done a muffler mod, which, if anybody knows anything about Echoes, will tell you it's the easiest saw in the market to do a muffler mod to. The 501 is, anyway. This bolt comes off, this plate comes off, the mesh, I forget, the spark arrestor screen comes off, and out comes a restrictor. It's like a restrictor tube, and all you need to do is take the restrictor tube away, put your mesh back on, and put that cover back on, and you will instantly get 10% more power. But I went further. I cut away the front of the deflector as well, and to give it a wee bit more. I then tuned it again. I put it up to 12,500, 12.7 RPM. Now I know for a fact that's way more powerful than a 550 XP. It is incredible. I'm not just, honest to God, it was like, it's an animal. That saw is an absolute animal now. Very fast cutting. I had an 18-inch bar on it the last time I was using it, and it coped with it no problem. My Havana 550 XP was a good saw. I mean, it was brand new, like I said. It had just been broken in. If you were cutting with an 18-inch bar, let's say you were cutting that kind of size of wood, which I would say from there to there is probably about 16, 17, maybe 18 inches. It would just bog. As soon as it got into the big wood, if you were pushing it, it would just bog. You couldn't put any weight against it, it would just bog. That, with an 18-inch bar, was cutting that like butter after doing these mods to it. I then done the same with the 4310. It was the same, sitting about 11,500 RPM. I put it up to about 12.3 because this saw isn't properly broken in yet. Again, massive difference. The 621sx is too new. I haven't done anything with that. Also as well, these two machines, the carbs as standard do not have the limiters on them. You've got to use a small D to adjust them. This one does have a carb limiter on it. I don't know why that is. I mean, those two are smaller saws than the big one. Yet the big one's got carb limiters. They're all Pro Series saws, but that's got a carb limiter on it. I don't know why. Right, back to the older saws, right. 3 horsepower, 3.5 horsepower, the 501, 4.3 horsepower. I can guarantee you that 501 is more than 3.5 horsepower. I can guarantee that will be sitting about 4. More like 4 horsepower, definitely. That's 4.3, but it's very fresh, but it's got a lot of torque. That saw has got an awful lot of torque. That's one thing that Echo sells their saws with, torque. I would probably go as far as to say that this 4310 has got more torque than what my Havana 550 XP had. I would definitely, I'd go as far as say that the 4310 has got more torque. The other thing as well, recently I picked up this bar second hand on YouTube, 13-inch. It's an earlier Echo bar, and instead of being Sugihara like the other Echo ones, not all the Echo ones are Sugiharas, the Echo ones that are basically Sugiharas are like your double kind of replaceable sprocket on them, basically. If it's got a replaceable sprocket, it's either Sugihara or this one here's Tsumura. So that's a Tsumura bar. I got it really cheap, 13-inch, and I put it on this wee saw. Well, I will end up doing the same. I'll end up tuning it up to about 12,500 to 13,000 RPM once it gets further broken in. I'll remove the limiters off this and I'll do the same with this. This is a very, very light saw. It's something like about £9.5. The selling point for this saw was it was the lightest saw, the lightest 50cc saw in its class. It sits below £10 without any fluids in it. This one here is sitting about 6 point something kilograms. It's a wee bit of weighty saw, but then again, it's much the same weight as what a 560 XP was, or probably a Still 361, 362, about the same weight. And that's the other good selling point with these saws. These saws are all current saws on the market, and every one of them has got manually tuning carburetors. So if you want to stay away from the electrical stuff, get one of these. As I say, manually tuning carburetors, that was a big selling point for me. Also as well, the air filter system on the 4310 is, well, I would say, this saw is the one that I have not got. It's a mini version of that. This has got the HD filter set up in it, which is truly amazing. If I was going to find a fault with the 621sx at the end, that would be the fault I would pick up with that, is it's the filter setup in it is not as good. The 501 filter's okay, but that one, the 4310 and the 7310, have both got the same filter setup, and if they were ever to upgrade these saws to that type of filter, I'd jump in one and buy it straight away. All of them have captive bar nuts. Captive bar nuts even in the 4310, captive bar nuts in the 501, captive bar nuts in the 621. Also as well, which is a wee bit different, this one's the only one that's got a magnesium case in it, basically, the sprocket cover. The other ones are plastic, but hey, I don't care. It means if anything goes wrong, it's cheaper to buy. I've never had any issues. I've had that saw there for 5 years and I've never had one issue with that saw. And it's been used a lot. I mean, there's what I use my saws for. that's basically quite a lot of firewood there. And it's the same in the garage. It's full as well, the firewood. I've used chainsaws for 15 years. Like I said, I've got 2 Stills. I've had Husqvarnas. And now I'm wanting Echoes. And I swear by them. I would love a 7310. That's my next project, my next thing that I maybe end up getting is a 7310. But that's like a dream. I'm in the middle of I've actually got a Still MS660. I'm in the middle of repairing. Like I do a lot of my own repairs and stuff like that, and saws I can rebuild them. I'm not me. I got it when I got it. It wasn't working at all. The chain brake mechanism, or some of it missing. It didn't have any spark. I got a new coil for it, and I've got it running. I've got the actual saw running, so I'm waiting on parts coming now to finish it. Hopefully they'll be here by next week, and I'll have that saw up and running for next week. And I might end up selling that to finance buying a 7310. That's what I would. If somebody was wanting to swap me in the UK and Scotland, if you see this video, if you're looking for a Still MS660 and you've got a 7310, message me. I'd maybe be interested in a swap. So I would. But yeah, this is just to basically see what Echo saws are like. I'm not going to stand there and start cutting my saws. What will happen is, if you're looking for the most powerful saw, it's a 621. If you're looking probably for the fastest saw, it's a 501. If you're looking for the lightest one, it's a 4310. I would say that that's the best 43cc saw that money can buy right now. For a rear handle chainsaw, Pro Series saw, that is by far the best saw that you can buy. You can't get it better than that. You cannot get it better than that 4310. The 501, like I said, I've never used a Still 260 or a 261. I've used the Husqvarna 550 XP, and I definitely prefer the Echo. So, is that better? I don't know. I've used a 560. I had it for 3 weeks and sold it. 3 weeks I had it for. It was 3 years old. I sold it for £150 more than I bought it for. And I sold it. I've still got this, and I will always have this. What does that tell you? Another thing as well, all the Pro Series Echoes, I think the 7310 is the same. The 4310, the 501 and the 621 all have twin piston rings. Twin piston rings is standard, like your Stills. I don't know about the 7310. Now, a lot of people think that the 621 is the cs590. Now, I can tell you the differences in the cs590 and the 621. The differences is that is not a magnesium sprocket on the 590. It's not got a rim sprocket either. It's got a clutch drum sprocket. That's got a rim sprocket on it. That isn't metal, that's plastic. It's got a limited coil in it, so it can only go to a certain RPM. It can't go any further than that. And it's got the 621 also as well has got a bigger carb, so better coil, better carb, better sprocket cover, and a better handle as well on the 621. In the UK, a cs590 averages about £700 new. £100 extra to get that. It's a no-brainer. Pay the £100, get that. That's the one thing I would like Echo to do with them, is upgrade these here filters. Upgrade the 2 air filters in these 2 saws, and excellent. But there's only one thing that I've heard about, I don't know if it's true or not. I've heard that the 7310 is Echo's last hurrah in the petrol, the 2-stroke chainsaw market. I.e., that might be the last Echo 2-stroke chainsaw designed and sold. I don't know whether that's true or not. I know they've done a 4920, but it's not in the UK yet, and I don't think it's in America. It's a similar version to the 4910 or 501, but it's not a Pro Series. But although it's got magnesium crankcase and stuff like that. But anyway, that's my Echo collection. Hopefully, maybe, the next time I do a video like this, there'll be an extra saw sitting there, not by a 7310. But anyway, this is for somebody that's maybe thinking, Echo saws, are they any good? I can vouch, I can tell you they're no good. They're fantastic. They used to represent great value for money, not so much now in the UK, because they're the same price as what Still and Husqvarna are. But I still went and bought a brand new Echo over buying a brand new Still or a brand new Husqvarna. And to be honest, I should have done that 5 years ago when I got this as well. I should just have went and bought a brand new 501. At the time, I thought I'd made the right decision. Now, ever since tuning this, well, the Husqvarna is gone. That's still here. And that speaks volumes. Husqvarna's gone and that's still here. And yeah, that's all I can say about Echoes. Is the parts in the UK, parts are a wee bit harder to get, but you can get them. And you can get a lot of aftermarket parts for Husqvarnas and Stills. I mean, like that 038 I've got, I can get everything for it from China. Everything. I done a sprocket conversion on it from a clutch drum sprocket to a rim sprocket, and it was pennies. I mean, it was like £13 or something like that for the kit. An exhaust, I bought a brand new exhaust for it, a new muffler, a dual port muffler as well for the 038. £6. £6 from China. I don't know how they can afford to do that. But the spares, you don't seem to get aftermarket spares as much for these Echos. Everything's got to be through a dealer or eBay, or just wherever you can get them. And I was struggling at one point to get bars and chains for the 501. Those two, by the way, use the same bar and chain fit. The bars off of the, basically vice versa. They fit vice versa. They don't fit that though. They don't fit the 621's a different bar fit from those two. I think that's a D176 or something like that, and that's a KO41. These two, and that's an Oregon fit basically. But you can get the Sugihara bars. That's not a Sugihara bar that came with it. That's a 16-inch Sugihara bar, and it's the Sugihara laminated light, and it's a good bar. I've got a 15-inch one that I had on the 4310 for a little while until I put this one on it. And I paid for a 16-inch one, I think I paid something like £38, and that's from Chainsaw Bars UK. And the 15-inch one I've had it for 5 years, and it was on this Echo 501sx for 5 years, and it's still getting used. It still looks good. It's still a lot of life left in it yet. Another thing I will say is I tend to go for the 050 chains, 325.050 chain, which is 1.3, I think. Yeah, 325 1.3 chains, and I normally go for this Oregon Speed Cut 95 TXL. The first time I ever used one was on the 4310. It came with an Oregon Speed Cut chain, the 16-inch Sugihara bar, and I was like, that's quite impressive. And I put the bar and chain onto the 501, and I noticed a difference straight away. I says, that's cutting better than what it was with a 15-inch bar and chain. But it wasn't the size, it wasn't the bar, it was the chain, it was the Speed Cut chain. Ever since that, I use Oregon Speed Cut in my 325 pitch chains, and I stick to the 050 narrow kerf, and use the speed. They cut amazing. They just really cut amazing. But this is just like an informative video if anybody's thinking. What this saw here's for is if you have cut down a tree, you want to limit. You cannot get better than that. For a guy working with a chainsaw all day in the woods, after he's cut down a tree and he wants to limit all, that's what most of the work's doing. Most of the work isn't cutting down a tree, most of the work's the clean up after it. That's the saw you want for it. That is the saw you want for it. This one here is an all-rounder. It'll do all of that. The felon, as I say, it'll run an 18-inch bar maximum, 18-inch bar. It'll fell the tree, it'll limit everything like that. That one there's predominantly a feller or a firewood monster, basically. It's fairly heavy. There's a big difference in weight between those two. Between the 501 and the 621, there's quite a substantial difference. I was actually quite, when I first got this saw, I was like, that's pretty heavy, you know, for there's a big difference between that and that. Big difference. There's not so much of a big difference between that and that. They're very similar in weight, but that one there just seemed to be quite a substantial bit heavier. I noticed it right away. And but still, I've used, I think I've got my first tank of fuel on this saw was just basically sitting, ticking over, not doing anything at all. The second tank I was starting to rev it here and there, but not at full revs. And it's on its fourth tank in fuel now. I used it for a cutting session. It was to cut down, it was a big massive stump that was left around my friends where I got all this wood from, right? And some of the discs I actually cut with my 038 when I first started doing the job, and I had to quarter them down, and they were bigger. They were bigger than that, basically, and that's what I mean. This thing, we'll put it this way, the 20-inch bar struggled. Once the trunk was down, there was only a bit of the trunk left, and a wee bit left to do. I went round with the third tank of fuel in the 621 to break in a wee bit and cut. I got 4 discs off it or something like that, and I had to quarter those discs to even carry it to the car. To carry it to my trailer, I had to quarter them because they were in this 20-inch bar. I had to attack the 3 from both sides. So I would say it was maybe, let's say, 28 to 30 inches in diameter, maybe. And it's hardwood. It was hardwood. It wasn't oak or nothing like that, but it was hardwood, and it did not bog once. And the full that 20-inch was in that wood. It didn't bog once, so I was very impressed with it. I was very impressed with the saw. And like I say, that's only the third tank of fuel. And what I did notice, sir, it's a thirsty git. It is quite a thirsty git when it comes to fuel. These 2 saws are great in fuel. The 501's great in fuel. The 4310 superb in fuel. That one there is a bit of a thirsty git. The 4310, see if you run out of fuel with it. If you're cutting and you run out of fuel and you fill it up, it takes a wee bit before it'll pick up the revs again. When you start it back up, for the fuel to clear, get in the lines and have a little bit of air to get out of it. That one straight away. That one seems to take a wee bit of time. Maybe it's needing a wee tune yet in the car. But I haven't, like I said, I'm being gentle with this. I've only run about 8 or 9 tanks of fuel through this, so I'm wanting to wait till I get about 10 tanks in it. Then I'll tune it a wee bit more, and we'll go from there. But this, honestly, the most impressive one is the 501. It's for what it is, and the difference I noticed from when I got it to now. And the biggest difference was the tune. It seems the Echo saws seem to come out the box. I mean, these two saws, I think the guy that had this before me, because like I said, it was like new. It was like brand new when I got it off the guy second hand. And I don't think he'd used it much, and I don't think it had been tuned at all. I think Echo saws, when they come out the box, they're rich. They're on them rich to break them in and stuff like that. And I think that they're sitting well below what they can do. And that was 11,500 revs. That was 11,500 revs, as opposed to nearly 14,000. That's what they can do. I mean, that's what 15% power. Near enough 15% power that you can give that saw just by turning a wee knob. Don't get me wrong, don't do it unless you know what you're doing, but I like my saws to be 4-stroking. Basically, when they're right at it, when you sit and rev it and it's right at a peak, you can hear it 4-stroking a wee bit. I like to know what my saws are doing. I don't want them to be totally clean. I like them to 4-stroke a little bit. These 2 saws are still 4-stroking, and I will leave them at that. I'll turn that up as much as I can, but it's still 4 strokes. So you're maybe going to talk about 12,500, 13,000 RPM. That's what it can go to. So that's like a 10% increase straight away of power. If I do a muffler mod, there's maybe another 10% power. That's the thing with this is after I tuned it a little bit, the difference was unbelievable. But anyway, guys, right, this is a wee quick, this is an informative video. If any of you are thinking about getting a Echo chainsaw, buy with confidence. As long as it's got a magnesium crankcase, it's one of these 3 models here, I can honestly say, buy with confidence.